I spoke to, I'm very good friends with Sprague and Mucho, and Mucho was talking about, yeah, when
Those,
Rodney,
those are
Mucho,
the Avengers, by the way.
yeah,
Those guys are the Avengers. Sprague and Mucho, those Avengers, man.
yeah, they were saying, man, when Rodney came to the studio back then, they were hoping that you were going to join in because they would have pushed them back then. But they said no. It's between you and your dad, it didn't work out. Which in the long run is better. But they were really impressed by what you brought, and they thought having the young energy and competition would have just taken them out of their comfort zone. Like, oh man, this kid's doing this. We need to up our game. But when you came into the studio and saw all these established older guys, producers, because he was, basic black, and he had his, what was it for you? Like, were you intimidated? Were you just in awe? Or were you learning from not just Teddy, but the other guys around?
Yeah, I definitely wasn't intimidated. If anything, I was very confident in my abilities. But I was also very inspired by the guys that Teddy had around. I remember hearing, I think it was Roughneck by Light, and I think Mutual worked on that.
Yeah.
And I remember hearing it and I still to this day think that's one of the hardest mixes that came from Future Sound recording that him and Teddy did. To this day, I still listen to that beat like, gosh, that beat is just like in your face, cutting, like just crushing you. And so I had nothing but respect for those guys. Sprague to me was, a genius, you know what I mean? Because you got to remember, I was coming down when I could, right? Because I was still in school. So it would be summertime, go down there and come down. I remember when Teddy was working on the My Love remix from Mary J. Blige, and I was there watching him create it. And then I was watching, some of the remixes he was doing. I was watching Sprague, working on stuff. And then Teddy finished and stuff. I was like, man, like these guys are just like the Avengers. These guys are pros, you know what I mean? And I'm just a young kid, you know what I mean? And I was like just thrilled that they liked my stuff. But for me, like that was the 18. You know what I mean? And like you got to work your way up to get into that 18, that A room. You got to work your way into that. And so for me, it was just like I was watching like a hawk. I really was. I would sit down and I was just studying, and I was taking it all in and understanding like, this is a chance for me to learn how to really make a real record and to really to hopefully be something special in this industry. But I also, at some point I also knew, like, as much as I loved being down there, and as much as I admired Teddy and the crew and everybody down there, I also knew I wanted to also be somewhat my own guy, my own leader, and build my own organization, and find people like the same way Teddy had me, Pharrell. Eventually I would have people like D Mile and Harmony Samuels, and I would build my own thing like that. You know what I mean? And I kind of knew that. It's crazy. I kind of knew that at 16 years old. That was like the path for me.
I mean, at that time, because Teddy started as a child prodigy. I mean, I've spoken to Jimmy Jerkins, who co-founded Uptown with Andre, and they talked about his little kid, Teddy. So he started as a kid and moved his way up. So if you have it, doesn't matter how old you are, it's almost as if you know what you have, being your own independent person, doors will definitely open. Well, was Pharrell around when you were coming down? Did you Neptunes?
Yeah, I saw Pharrell. I didn't see him a lot because I think at that time, I probably was catching Pharrell, right? Him and Chad, I think they finally were moving into their own studio space. They were still, but I would see them still come through and play beats for Teddy.
And you guys were probably around the same age or so. What was your impression seeing? Did you see them and think they're gonna make it the same way because the sounds were different?
Yeah, because we got me and Pharrell was cool. Like Pharrell would send me stuff. Actually, when I worked with Michael, I played Pharrell's beats for Michael. I tried to get Pharrell on Michael's album. So Pharrell sent me stuff, and the song Rock Your Body by Justin Timberlake. Pharrell gave me that to play for Michael. I played it for Michael, but Michael didn't want it because I think Michael was kind of more about, you know, track wise in that time, in that space, he was really listening for the instrumentals, not necessarily the songs at first. But I definitely played his stuff for Michael.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I'll get to Invincible because, you know, I have my, you know, the two people who were always, Michael was always number one, and then, you know, there's always Teddy. And when they did the Dangerous album, it was like, oh my goodness, this is gold. Thanks for watching. Please remember to subscribe to the channel, but most importantly, to press the notification bell so that you can be notified when we do have a new interview. Loads to come, but thanks a lot for watching. I begin to